Also, I always like to say, because I feel like it's a disservice if I don't, the artist program is very easy to do. It's something I never ever thought I would do. It's a really, really funny story. I actually wasn't gonna do it, and I was looking for some kind of sign to tell me, because I just kept thinking about it and thinking about it. And this is weird, and you're not gonna have something big like this, quite possibly. But I just bought in these new chairs for the backyard, and like all the little plastic things that keep the chair nice on the legs, they kind of cracked and broke off. So I called this lovely company and I just said, hey, can I get the new cups to go over these chairs that I just purchased within 30 days or whatever. And they're like, you know what? We're going to refund you the full price of the chairs and you can keep them because we no longer make that style. And so I had some extra money from those chairs that I bought. It's like girl math. And I was like, this is my sign. And so that's when I kind of took the leap, and I never intended to build a team. I never intended to share it more than just my family and friends. But this makeup kind of speaks for itself, and it easily just snowballed into something that I was very passionate about. So if you're looking for something, it's a great opportunity. And if you can always, message me and we can chat too. But it kind of taught me to love myself without makeup, which is kind of crazy because before SEINT, I never ever took a selfie. And like you look through my phone, never ever ever a selfie, especially without makeup. But it taught me to feel good in this skin with nothing on it. And then I loved what just a small amount of SEINT did for a boost. So crazy, I know, but that's kind of how I fell into this whole game. So I'm kind of going to go slow. I'm going to try to turn my fast mode down because usually I'm in a rush because I want to show everything and I don't want to take a lot of time. And you can definitely bop back on and catch the replay, whatever. I'm going to do all my makeup and I'm going to use all the SEINT things, including bronzer, illuminator, eyeshadows, the setting spray, which I think is so important and I don't show nearly enough, and the Vanilla Dust setting powder. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to use the smudge brush today and the blush and bronzer brush. So I'm going to use these for application. And then I love the Perfector. And I mean, beauty blenders are great, but I'm just going to say all beauty sponges are not created equally. And this is just a little more hygienic. I've cut a few of these in half and none of the makeup penetrates these, even though you should replace them every 3 months. I feel like these are just the best. So if you don't have a Perfector, you can grab one, but do yourself a favor and grab the Travel Perfector. It's $2 cheaper, but it's the exact same thing, exact same size. It's just black. So I love this, especially if you feel like you're having some patchiness on your face or you're seeing a little brush streaks. Grab a Perfector. You always use these damp. Put this over your finished product and you will be amazed at what this guy does. So I'm going to use this, my smudge, my blush and bronzer, if I can talk. And if I throw any of these brushes in, I'll let you know because sometimes I just pick one up. I'm going to use one of those for eyeshadow too. So let's get going. I use Astoria for my contour. Contour is great. It's all cream makeup, so it's zero water in it, highly pigmented. So a little bit goes an incredible long way. That's another reason why I love SEINT. My dog wants a little piece of attention. It's very low ingredient, which I love. If you look on the back of anything you use, eat, consume in any way, usually there's a list of 50 ingredients, and I'm not joking. SEINT only has 11, and they are all clean. They're not vegan, but because we have beeswax. But that's pretty incredible. And if you think about it, your skin's your largest organ, so it absorbs so much of what you put on it. So I just love having a clean product. I never would have thought about it before, but since I've gotten into this, I'm like, oh, this is good. So I'm going to get into contour. I'm just going to use one of my smudge brush ends, and you don't need to dab, you just need to kind of dab in there because a little bit goes a crazy long way. If you use too much, that's the number one mistake. You're not going to like it. So I always say, if you don't like it, it's most likely because you used too much. So we're gonna go right up and under that cheekbone. I always like to do this little Nike swoosh lately to kind of cup my cheek and give me a little bit more cheek. So I am just gonna do, and our contour has coverage. You see all my redness there? I just got out of the shower not too long ago, so my face stays red for a good 30 minutes after. I don't know if that's you, but that's what's happening here. But I love that our contour has coverage. This makeup is meant to be worn as one single layer. So you're not gonna feel like your kid's birthday cake or your own birthday cake. And it gives you nice coverage, every part of it. So now we're going to go temple to temple, just along the forehead. I'm using the smudge brush. I like this brush for more control. I don't go into my temples because you can see they're kind of already a little bit concave. So I make a conscious effort not to droop my contour in there because it's going to make them look more flat. And I already am pretty long, so I go right above them. Now, if you don't have the temple issue, go temple to temple. And now we're going to follow that eyebrow line down. There's so many ways to contour your nose, but obviously if these two contour lines on your nose are closer, the more narrow your nose will appear. And mine, I think they come out different every time. And I kind of like that. I'm surprised every time. But I try to just follow that natural, even though I have this side of my nose is pretty crooked. Naturally, I wasn't in any bar fights or anything like that. But look at that. This is another reason I like the smudge. Small brushes are gonna help you attack small areas of concern. So if you have a heavily textured area, like I have, quite a few fine lines and wrinkles here, a smaller brush is gonna serve me more in that particular area of my face. So I did contour on both sides. I like to cut it off right here at the tip because otherwise it just seems long to me. And you see what that did. It kind of gave me a little bit of a turned up nose. So going on, I haven't mastered the contouring my upper lip, so I'm just not going to do that. But I've seen women do it and it looks good. I just like to go right below and emphasize the shadow of my lower lip to give me a little bit of added pucker. I like it. And then I just follow my lower jawline. I'm just doing a basic hack, but I'm going to kind of go slow and talk about everything. And feel free to ask questions because I love questions, and then I don't say 150,000 times. Or there's another word I say a lot. I always like to brush this contour on my jawline back right away because then it's out of my sight. Okay, I'm still going to use the smudge brush. I like this brush for multiple reasons. It's great for eyeshadow too. Look at the size of it. It's perfect. So I'm going to use the other end, and I'm going to go into Palace. I've really liked this highlight color for my under eyes and really everywhere. I've talked about this a couple times, but if you see, I kind of have lighter under eyes. A lot of women hold a lot of blue there, and Demi works great at eliminating or filtering out that blue. But for me, I'm pretty white. Like it's lighter than the rest of my face, so my bags do stand out more. So I'm going with a brightening highlight that kind of matches it, might be even a little bit darker to kind of camouflage that. I know there are other people out there that have the white bag too. So I think I did a little sprout and I went down my nose, but I like this Palace because the contrast isn't huge between my brightening highlight and my main highlight. Some women, that extra pop of color just looks dynamite. And in the summer, I do like to put a little bit like on the mid face. I don't do my eyes a whole bunch because the lighter you go around a mature eye, the more your wrinkles show up. So I kind of like to keep it pretty much the same as my skin tone right around my eyes, just to help camouflage those fine lines and wrinkles. But it still gives me a nice little lift. But that is a little tip. If you love the makeup, but you think your brightening highlight is just a little too light, especially around your eyes, try mixing it with your main highlight to kind of soften and not bring so much attention to a textured area that you're not so crazy about. Okay, and then I love this. I think everyone does this, but the lower lash line lift. This just kind of gives your whole face a lift. And I actually don't blend this out a whole lot because I like what it does for my face. So I'm just doing the good old brightening highlight here. I think I got everything. I did Cupid's bow, chin, down my nose, inner corner of eye, outer corner of eye, inner corner, outer corner. I am going to have a couple links on this post too. One, just how to get started with SEINT if you're interested. And two, if you have been interested in the artist program at all, you can click it, explore it, reach out to me if it's something that you think you'd like to do. So I think I'm done with the smudge, and I'm going to go on to the blush and bronzer brush. This, I'm going to say it, is my favorite brush. But I really don't want to do a lot alone with her. So there you go. Athens is my main highlight. I'm going to just bop into Athens. Remember, no water in our product, so a little goes a long way. I'm going to stipple this on the lower half of my face, just like so. I like to go kind of right in my parentheses lines too. And then I even hit my Athens here where you kind of see this white bag. This is where I don't want a real bright brightening highlight because that is going to emphasize my under eye. Athens under there kind of almost smooths that bag out a little bit. So we're always, it's just kind of the trend to want that light, bright under eye, but sometimes it doesn't serve you. So if you're kind of in that range, just give it a shot. Mix your brightening highlight with your main highlight. You might be surprised. Okay, look at this natural blush I got going on. So I think I'm pretty much done. And I'm just going to blend it out. I blend with the smaller domed end of the blush and bronzer brush. This same end is on the 3D foundation brush. Really love it. It's dense, but it's still not, so tight like the buff. So it's very, very nice to blend. So I'm going to blend light to dark. I'm, of course, doing some circles here. Remember to stipple, especially if you are trying to be nice to your skin. If you've started to really take care of it. Stippling is pressing the product into your skin. It's a lot nicer than swiping. So just press that product in. It's also going to give you like a better finish. So I'm going to try to get better at this in 2024. Stipple. That should be my word for 2024. Okay, and you see I just kind of I don't brush them completely out. A lot of times I do eyeshadow first because of the fallout, but I am going to be brave and try not to make a mess and do my eyeshadow last. So I think I guess I need to blend a little bit more, but we're pretty good. I also like putting a little brightening highlight just kind of above your brow because your brows just really frame your face. So that's a nice little trick too if you ever want to try. Is just kind of, really chiseling out that brow shape with a little bit of your brightening highlight. Okay, and I dropped my brush. Okay, so now let's attack the contour. I'm just going to do small circles or brush this back. A lot of you know my SEINT story, but I gave up on makeup and I actually loved it. I, grew up dancing and my mom got me into pageants. Some of you know this. So I was Miss South Dakota Teen USA and America's Junior Miss South Dakota. So I did a lot of that and it was fun. I met a lot of neat girls, but my life basically was surrounded by makeup. And I did grow to love it. I loved bright, fun, funky colors. In college, I was on the dance team. They wanted you to have a full stage face at all times, at our philanthropy events, at our games. And a lot of my friends loved me to do their eyes because it was something I loved to do. It was a fun, creative way to express myself and other people appreciated it. So, then life kind of happened. I had kids a little bit later in life and I kind of fell out of love with makeup because nothing about it made me feel better. it all kind of just made me feel worse. And I felt like I needed more and more to correct these things that people were emphasizing, on social media and stuff. So I kind of gave up on it. And I was pretty sure I was just done with makeup. And then I found this stuff and I was like, I was honestly blown away. I'd always thought that I wanted to learn to contour and brighten and highlight and do my eyeshadow again, but I was like, I'm getting older, I'm getting wrinkles, I have babies, I don't have a lot of time. And this came into my life and I was like, other people need to know about this. You don't need to give up on makeup. You don't need to give up on having, putting fun colors on your face, because there we have SEINT, and this is for mature women or the young, but it's cream and it's made for us to grow with us in our age and in our life journey. So I've kind of blended all of my makeup out. I'm going to go into my bronzer. This is Bella. She's my favorite bronzer. If you've been around here, you know. I also love High Tides. If you're pretty fair skinned, I would grab Tan Lines. And then if you have dark, rich, luscious color that I've always wanted, and I tanned pretty much every day in high school and college to get, but always just came out a tomato, then you might want a Heat Waves. She's gorgeous. And I still try to wear that shade, but it's a little bit too much. So I'm going to go into Bella, and I am mixing Glow Illuminator with her to kind of give a nice little bronzy glow. I love to hit top of cheek, top of forehead. This is kind of my spots for my bronzer, and I feel like it does a lot for my face. So as you see, I just put a tiny amount on, and it lifts, and it gives me kind of that bronze golden glow. Now, one good thing about SEINT bronzers is they don't include a shimmer. I paired mine with a shimmer with Glow Illuminator. But if you don't like a shimmer and you don't like orange at all in your bronzers, try this cream bronzer. It has 0 shimmer in it, and you're never, ever going to look or feel orange no matter how much you apply. So give Bella Bronzer a shot. And I love our collections. I don't think they get talked about enough. But there's a bronzer collection, and it includes this brush, my favorite brush, if you remember, and a bronzer of your choice for $11 cheaper than if you bought them separate. We also have a Vanilla Dust collection. It is the powder brush and Vanilla Dust for cheaper. There's a Illuminator collection. So check those out, because I feel like they're often skipped, and they do actually save you quite a bit of money. So I got my bronzer on. I was going to go to my go-to lip and cheeks, but I brought another palette down so I could venture out. Look at all these babies. I have every single color SEINT has ever offered. And I say that proudly. I have broke a few eyeshadows recently, so I gotta get some of those replaced. But for the most part, I have every shade. So if you've ever thought of doing like an in-home, or you'd like to try certain colors, you can always message me and we could try to get together, or we could do an in-home at your house and share it with your family and friends. It's a nice way, a lot of people like to see it in action, even though, I match 99% of my gals via photos over the Facebook. Gosh, let's see. There's so many choices. That's why I kind of limit myself. Oh, should we go pinky? Should we do candy? This is one of the on sale shades. Let's go. I think I'm going to do black cherry, because I feel like she is a favorite of a lot of people, but a lot of people still don't know the goodness of black cherry. Look how scary she looks in the tin. Who's going to buy this? Not a lot of people. But if you look at her on, she's like the perfect berry winter shade. And she looks good on everyone. So this is a little, or a lot, I guess. I kind of overdid it. Just my sister. I'll call her back. Corey, I don't know, some of you know my family. But she is a tomboy, and she's been that way since she came out of the womb. So she's never been a makeup gal, but she's graciously let me do her makeup a few times. And it's my favorite because she never wears, you know, any at all really. So this is Black Cherry. Look at her for like winter and fall. But this is what you see on the website and you're like, nah. But look at, she's so pretty. So I'm going to use her as my cheek color too. I love simplified makeup. Things that I don't have to think about. Like, you know, I can think about rummaging through my old makeup bag and being like, pulling something out and being like, and it's in a circle, but I don't even know what it's for. So I'm trying to rack my brain, where do I put this? You know, and I still end up hating it. So we're taking the guessing out of makeup, making it easy, and making you actually kind of like to do it because it just makes you feel good. So I always like to put my lip cheek on the apples of my cheek. And I kind of went overboard on that left side, maybe the right side too, but I do like a lot of blush. So it's kind of to each your own. But I like it too because you can quickly fix things with cream. So this is Black Cherry. Isn't she good? And like I said, I kind of maybe overdid it for some, but you can definitely make them more subtle. And my Black Cherry has lasted me 3 years. You're supposed to replace kind of all your makeup. I think all of our makeup has a 1 year life expectancy, so, you know, shame on me. But you can get so much out of these tiny tins. A $16 tin lasting you 3 years. I mean, what? Because it's all heavily pigmented, high quality makeup. So that's Black Cherry on my lips and my cheeks. I did Bella Bronzer along with Glow Illuminator. I'm going to apply Illuminator next, and I think I'm going to go nuts. I'm going to go with powders. Creams are nice and subtle, and I do have every single cream illuminator we have too. I love Honey on warmer tones, and when I say warmer tones, I mean if you are like an Aura, a June, believe it or not, even though you're pretty fair, you have warmth in your skin. Amber, Mango, Wheat, Goddess, all you beautiful women. Honey is so pretty on you. So if your main highlight color runs in that range, you should grab Honey. And like I said, all illuminators work really wonderfully as eyeshadows too. So this is Angel. She's probably my most recommended because she's kind of got that nice, very light pinky tone that's not noticeable when you apply her. This is Pearl. Anybody can wear Pearl, but she is a lighter illuminator shade. This is, you know, kind of my tried and true. This is Glamazing. I love her. I'm going to show you what she looks like. I'm going to use the wash brush here. I like to use brushes with powders. I just do. It just goes on better and smoother with a brush. With my cream illuminators, I do like to use my finger and then my brush after. But I'm going to go into Glamazing and I'm just going to tap in. And that might be a lot, but I like to just kind of brush it over and you can already see that illumination, right? Just on my cheekbone. And you saw how quick that was. So I love this on the tops of bony prominences. What it gives you is kind of that nice, you know, dewy, youthful glow. And it catches the light. So I love it on the tops of my cheekbones. I like it. I just kind of dabbed into Photoshop, so I might get a combo here. I like a little on the tip of my nose. A couple other great places for it. I don't really like it on my Cupid's bow. I think it's because I have failed in applying it nicely many a time, but it looks pretty on a lot of ladies. I do like it. I'm probably not going to do a brush for my inner eye, but like here, just where you see kind of some darkness, a little bit of illuminator just kind of reflects light and makes, you know, it a little bit more light in that corner of your eye. So that's just a little bit of Glamazing in there. If you have a cute little nice skinny nose, sometimes just along the bridge is very beautiful too. You can mix them with your lips shades to add a little bit of sparkle, or like what did we call this in the 90s? Frosted. So if you want like a frosted lip, so I had Black Cherry and I just put a touch of Glamazing over the top. Look how pretty that is. So our makeup is so versatile. Just because it's labeled as an illuminator doesn't mean you can't use it as a lip, cheek, or an eyeshadow. So I love that. So I used Glamazing on my cheeks. You see that nice illumination. I put it in the inner corner of my eye there. I like it there. Look at that. And then I put it kind of over my black cherry for kind of a more muted black cherry, but a little bit of frost. So I think, what do I have left? I definitely want to show the setting spray and how I do it, because I think how I do, I just love my finish, and I think it's because of my setting spray and my Vanilla Dust setting powder. So I definitely want to share that with you. And then I'm going to do a quick little eyeshadow look. You know, I know my eyeshadow looks are pretty, you know, basic, but I still think they're beautiful, and even 2 colors gives you a ton of dimension to really highlight your eye bone structure in your eye and bring light to your eyes. So I'm just gonna do a 2-color look. That's kind of my jam. That's where I feel safe and comfy. And I'm gonna use the Bright brush from the Demi side. This is slowly becoming one of my favorite eyeshadow brushes. So I always prime my lids with a Vanilla Dust setting powder. If you don't know about her, she's a finely milled translucent setting powder. Now, the important things that I just said there are finely milled. So it's tiny, tiny little pressed particles. So even if they do, they're not gonna migrate and like fill in a wrinkle and make you look like a desert. You know what I'm saying? The finely milled is what helps us get the blurring option with this Vanilla Dust. But we'll get into that a little bit later. I'm just going to go in with my Bright brush, and I am going to apply Vanilla Dust setting powder, and I go lash line to brow. And say you do this already. You already do this. I already do this, Lexi, and I still have creasing throughout the day. Okay, there's one more trick that I know will save you. Use one of your highlight colors, either one, and just put your ring finger in there and go over your whole lid with that highlight color, and you need a very small amount. Then, after that's there, go into your Vanilla Dust setting powder, go lash to brow with your Vanilla Dust setting powder, then apply your shades. I promise you, you won't have the creasing. It'll fix that problem for you. So let's see. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to not be as funky as I normally would be, even though the funk is calling my name. I think I'm going to go, you know, I did pretty good with the black cherry and the Glamazing. I'm going to go with Zion. She's not talked about enough, and she's such a pretty color on all eye colors. She's kind of that deserty sunset color. Super, super pretty. So I'm going to put Zion in my crease. She is a matte color, so if you see her and you like her, she's in the matte section. And then I always like to do a shimmer shadow in the inner corner, but, you know, it's up to you. But I do like to go lighter. Those are kind of my 2 rules. Darker shade goes in your crease and outer corner, and the lighter shade kind of goes in the inner corner to mid-lid to open up your eye. So I'm going to use Sis. She's another pretty color, not to be confused with Soulmate. Sis is a little less peachy, a little more, she's a little more subtle too, I think. I mean, I feel like I'm not getting a good swatch of her, but yeah, look at that. Those 2 will be very pretty together. So I'm going to start with Zion. I do have to put these in a compact because my vision isn't the best. So I'm going to put these 2 shades. Hopefully my phone's not going to die. So I'm going to put Zion and Sis in my compact, and I am going to start this eyeshadow. Remember to prime with Vanilla Dust setting powder at least, because that's going to help those colors stay and last all day. It also, your eye, when you have oils in your eyelid, they don't come across evenly. So if you just start to apply shadow, those oilier spots of your eye are going to absorb more of that color, and it's going to look blotchy. So apply Vanilla Dust setting powder. If you don't do the highlight, that's fine, but just do the Vanilla Dust setting powder. It'll help a more even application of eyeshadow. So going into Zion, you can flick off your colors. Sometimes that helps with fallout. So I'm just going to window wash into my crease and outer corner here. You know, a lot of people think they can't eyeshadow, but you just look at that pretty Zion. just let the brush do the work. I did nothing there. I held the brush back like 3/4 down on it, and I just did the window wash motion kind of lightly on my eye, and I got that nice application. I'm gonna do the same thing here. You just kind of window wash it on, and you can always blend more. But look at that. I mean, you can do that. So I'm gonna grab a little more. I'm still using the fluffy end of the brush, and I'm gonna kind of deposit a little bit more in the, by the lower lash line, or the lash line and outer corner of my eye. See that? So it looks a little darker there and a little bit, having a darker color here is just gonna open your eye up a little bit more. So I like to keep my eye a little bit open when I apply because you want people to see this beautiful work that you did. So, oops, we just lost a soldier there. So keep it open. So when you open your eye, you can actually see the color. Okay, so there's Zion. What do you think? Do you like her? She's a great shade. I was going to show you the etch brush and why I like it, but I don't think I brought it down. But I'll show you with another brush. So there's Zion. I just simply window wash that color in my crease and outer corner. I use the bright brush. The eyeshadow brush is great. The blur brush is great. So you can use multiple brushes. I like to use my finger for the inner corner color because I like a little more pigment. If you like it to be more subtle, use that other end of your eyeshadow brush. That'll work really nice. But I'm going to use my pinky finger and I'm going to tap into Sis. And that's about how much I get, not a ton. And I'm literally going to like swipe it inner corner to mid lid. That's it. Using my finger. And I do lift up and kind of go back and forth to get in the little wrinkles of my eye. But look at that. A nice little combo. Zion and Sis. Who would have thunk it? But I do like it. I love that our eyeshadows are $14. You don't have to buy a big palette because you love 2 shades in the whole thing. You can just get those 2 shades and have them in your palette. So there is Sis and Zion. A nice little 2-color combo. Eyeshadow doesn't have to be hard, and it shouldn't be hard at all. Okay, let's see. What else did I want to do? Oh, I wanted to show you setting powder and vanilla, setting powder and setting spray. So, this is our setting powder, or this is not powder, this is spray. I like to use this now. This is what I use now. My last step is my Vanilla Dust setting powder. So I always shake this up real good. I have no longer done the spritzing of the face because I have gotten hosed a few times here, and it's not fun getting shot in the eye with that baby. So I like to put it on a perfector sponge, and I just feel like it's safer for everybody in the room. So I just thought I needed a little more Sis on this side. Don't you love this combo? So good. So remember, you always use your perfector sponge damp. Any beauty blender will work, but like I said at the beginning, our perfectors, you know, they just kind of have my heart. I feel like they're a little bit more hygienic. They're definitely cheaper. And remember, you can get the travel perfector. It's the same size for $2 cheaper. So I spray that much on my perfector sponge, and I always start with my eyes, and I go right underneath, and then I go forehead, and there's really no rhyme or reason, but I put this everywhere. I do the setting spray every time I do my makeup. Now, if you're a little bit oily, you know, if you like really, you know, identify with having oily skin, I would probably skip the setting spray. If you're dry to normal, grab it. It's so nice to have, and it helps that makeup stay all day. So I do that. I kind of let it dry, and then I take kind of a fluffy ended brush, almost like that eyeshadow brush, but I definitely don't want that. So I'm going to use, this is called the Blur brush, and I like this brush. It's kind of a lesser densely populated brush. And I'm going to go into my Vanilla Dust setting powder, which is in this compact right there. And I like to pick a little bit up, and I use a brush, tap a little off. And this, I like to put, I mean, look at how it's kind of already blurring. So I put a little Vanilla Dust setting powder Definitely, I always hit my eyes. You will never see me without a little bit right there because I feel like it helps my eye bag. So I put a little vanilla descending powder there. I'll always do around my nose and my mouth. And then if I find any areas that are a little extra shiny that I don't love, which I don't really see much right now, then I do a little sprinkle. So sometimes I'll do a little bit on my forehead, but I love that it's a finely milled translucent. It works for all skin tones, and not a lot of setting powders are finely milled. So this one works with texture. So I like to put a little bit there. I'm trying to think. I think I hit everything. I used black cherry on my lips, Glamazing as my illuminator, and I put some on my lips. I did Zion in the crease of my eye and Sis in the inner corner. You can always try your contour, you know, if you want to do your brows, if you want to deepen them a little bit. I wasn't feeling like that today, but I like to use the line brush and my contour color, which is Astoria. If you're finding that just doesn't work, I can tell you Trust works on most women's brows, and that's an eyeshadow. It's a darker brown. I'd say it's more of a neutral. It's not very warm and it's not very cool. Trust is a nice neutral brown shadow that works on a lot of women's eyebrows. So yay, this is SEINT. And if you're new here, welcome, welcome. I'd love to help you get started. If you've ever thought about the artist program, I never thought I could do it, and I'm telling you, you can do it, and I will help you. And then if you ever want to throw a party, it's so fun. We can do in-homes or we can do it all online. I'm your gal. I love to do it. I found what works, and I love to share the magic of this stuff and the feel good of this. So thank you so much for being here. Look at that Glamazing. Whew. I am going to do some after pictures quick before I grab my kids, but I'm always here for questions. Please let me know if you have any, and thanks for hanging out.